Good morning, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants. Welcome to today's Technology, Media, and Telecommunications TMT webinar. We are delighted to share Deloitte's latest perspectives on how artificial intelligence is reshaping the TMT landscape in Ghana and beyond. As AI continues to transform how we work, communicate, and innovate, staying ahead of these trends has never been more critical for industry leaders. My name is Yahan Pra, Associate Director with the Consulting Unit here at Deloitte Ghana, and it's a pleasure to welcome you. Before we begin today's webinar, I would like to highlight a few housekeeping rules. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be shared on our YouTube page after the event. All participants are currently muted. During the Q&A session, you may raise your hand and you will be unmuted to speak. You are also welcome to submit your questions and comments at any time using the Q&A chat box. Towards the end of the webinar, a survey link will be shared in the chat. We encourage you to provide your feedback. To make this session more interactive, we have also included polls and look forward to your input on key TMT issues. Now, to formally open today's session, it is my honor to welcome Mr. Daniel Owusu, the Country Managing Partner at Deloitte Ghana. Mr. Owusu will deliver the welcome address, after which we will proceed directly to our keynote address by the Honorable Samuel Jatta George, Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation of the Republic of Ghana. Mr. Owusu, the floor is yours.
Right. Thank you very much, Johan, and good morning, distinguished guests, technology enthusiasts, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Deloitte Ghana Technology and Transformation Unit, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to this year's Technology, Media, and Telecommunication TMT Predictions for 2026, the webinar which is about to go on. This is an event where foresight meets practical opportunity, and our collective curiosity paves the way for Ghana's digital future. This gathering is particularly special as we stand at a juncture in time where technology is not just an enabler, but a driving force that shapes economies, transforms society, and defines how we learn, work, and connect. Our focus today resonates with the latest insight from the Deloitte TMT Predictions 2026 report, a document that does not simply chart global technology trends, but invites us to adapt, innovate, take the lead, and be useful in the ongoing debate. The agenda today covers an array of topics, from the ever-evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and its real-world implication for our businesses, amongst others. And I'll just dive into a few things and I'll hand over. Allow me to share some key perspectives that will shape our discussion and inspire our strategic vision. The hype around AI is becoming more measured and less futuristic. And you would have seen we always talk AI is coming, is no more, AI is coming again. At the Deloitte report highlight, we are seeing the gap between the promises of AI and its real world impact starting to narrow through sustained effort in areas such as data governance, workflow integration, and regulatory alliance. Today, these lessons are more pertinent than ever as we accelerate our digital transformation across industries in Ghana. We have moved from software is eating the world to TMT is eating the world, with AI as the backbone. The future will see generative AI and AI becoming seamlessly embodied in digital tools, amplifying productivity, creativity, and accessibility. For businesses in Ghana, this means immediate opportunities to adopt AI solutions that are not just experimental, but deliver measurable business value, whether enhancing customer experience automating operations, or unlocking new business opportunities. The explosion of short-form video, as you would have seen, the rise of video podcasts, and the growing independence of digital content creators all signal a shift towards mobile-first consumer-centric storytelling. Independent media makers in Ghana now have access to tools once reserved for global studios, empowered by generative AI and platform democratization. These trends open new doors for Ghanaian cultural exports, local storytelling, and economic participation in global entertainment markets. Artificial intelligence is transforming software as a service, making enterprise software more intelligent, adaptive, and tailored. This evolution is crucial for Ghana's small and large enterprises striving for agility, efficiency, and global competitiveness. Another strategic topic for discussion is technology sovereignty. The imperative for countries and regions to be more self-reliant in digital infrastructure. For Ghana and Africa, this calls for an investment in data centers, cloud, next-generation connectivity, and AI capabilities, preparing us for a future where digital sovereignty is an economic and national priority. To conclude, technology, media, and telecommunications are no longer mere sectors. They are engines of national growth and vehicles for strategic ambition. As the world narrows the gap between technological promises and reality, let Ghana be bold and intentional, empowering our workforce, safeguarding our data, and connecting our communities. Collaboration will be our most valuable tool as we look forward today. Thank you for being part of this vibrant conversation. Your insight, curiosity, and commitment are what will drive progress, not just for Ghana, but Africa as a whole. I invite you to listen, question, contribute, and connect as we chart a course from vision to value together in Ghana. Welcome, and let's get started. At this point, let me now introduce our special guest who is representing the minister, and he is Mr. Emmanuel Ofori. Mr. Emmanuel Ofori is a director in charge of Innovations Directorate of the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, and is primarily responsible for identifying, developing, and executing strategic initiatives that promote innovation, collaboration, and economic advancement within the ICT sector. Additionally, he leads innovative interventions, ensuring policy alignment and fostering partnership with various stakeholders, including government agencies, private sector entities, and international organizations. His responsibilities include facilitating the coordination and implementation of the national AI strategy within the public sector and other emerging technologies to guide the ecosystem. He also collaborates with key stakeholders to establish and refine regulations that foster an innovative, friendly environment. Additionally, he initiates policies for incentivizing creativity, digital transformation, and technological advancement. Emmanuel has over 23 years experience in the civil servant and has been part of a team that developed the Ghana ICT for Accelerated Development Policy, National Telecom Policy, Digital Terrestrial Television Policy, Ghana's Digital Economy Policy and Strategy. He has also contributed to the development of various policies initiatives in the ECOWAS sub-region. On behalf of our partners and on behalf of all of us on this webinar, let me welcome Mr. Emmanuel Ofori to take over. Mr. Ofori, you are welcome, and please take over if you can hear me. Mr. Ofori, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. Okay, please, you have the floor as a keynote speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Owusu, and good morning to everyone. I am here on behalf of the Honorable Minister who would have wished to be here, and he's also far away from us at the Mobile World Congress, trying as much as possible to foster partnerships and also see how we can move our telecom policy development forward based on best practice. I'm going to read his speech, and so if something goes wrong, I'm just reading, and so pardon me for that. The country managing partner of Deloitte Ghana, distinguished panelists and industry leaders, representatives from academia and the innovation ecosystem, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, I stand on existing protocols. It is a pleasure to join you this morning on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, Honorable Samuel Nate George, at this important conversation on the 2026 Technology, Media and Telecommunications Predictions that was presented by Deloitte Ghana. Let me begin by commending Deloitte Ghana for convening this timely dialogue. Conversations such as this are important because they allow us to observe technological change while anticipating it and positioning ourselves strategically within it. The technology, media, and telecommunication sector is reshaping economies, governance, and societies. Artificial intelligence, 5G networks, cloud computing, and next generation connectivity are creating opportunities for innovation, inclusive growth, and social transformation. Today, we explore trends that will not only change markets, but redefine how nations connect, govern, and create value for their citizens. The trends highlighted in the 2026 TMT Predictions report signal a profound shift in how technology is impacting economies and societies. Artificial intelligence is at the heart of this transformation. Deloitte projects that global investments in AI infrastructure, particularly in data centers, could reach nearly $1 trillion by 2028. AI is moving beyond experimentation into practical deployment, transforming media, telecommunications, public service delivery, and enterprise systems. Generative AI is revolutionizing content creation, personalization, and customer engagements across the TMT sector. Ethical AI and governance are central to public trust and sustainable innovation. Countries worldwide are advancing frameworks to ensure responsible AI development. The European Union's AI Act, the United States AI Bill of Rights, South Korea's AI Ethics Charter, and Japan's human-centered AI principles demonstrate that ethical governance enables innovations while protecting citizens. Across the world, we are seeing rapid advancement in artificial intelligence. This digital infrastructure, connectivity, and digital media ecosystems. These developments are redefining how governments operate, how businesses compete, and how citizens interact with digital systems. Artificial intelligence in particular is emerging as a foundational technology, influencing sectors ranging from finance, healthcare, to public administration and education. At the same time, the expansion of AI systems raises important questions about infrastructure capacity, energy demand, digital trust, and the need for strong governance frameworks. These are issues that governments across the world are now grappling with. They are strategic national questions that require thoughtful policy, investment, and collaboration. These global developments present opportunity to strengthen our position within the digital economy. The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations, is actively working to position the country as a regional leader in digital transformation and technological innovation. Our efforts are guided by a number of strategic priorities. First, expanding digital infrastructure, which remains the backbone of innovation and economic participation. Second, strengthening policy and governance frameworks to support responsible technology adoption, including ongoing work towards Ghana's National Artificial Intelligence Strategy implementation. Third, supporting innovation ecosystems and emerging technology development through partnerships with academia, industry, and technology hubs. And fourth, investing in digital skills and talent development, particularly among young people who will lead the next phase of Ghana's digital economy. These priorities reflect a broader national vision to ensure that Ghana participates not as a contributor, but participates as a contributor to the global digital economy, not only as a consumer of technology. One of the most important lessons from global technology trends is that innovation ecosystems thrive through collaboration. No country can navigate the digital transformation journey alone. The scale and complexity of emerging technologies require strong collaboration between government, industry, academia, and innovators. Where government sets the enabling policy environment and industry drives technology development and investment, academia advances research and talent development, and innovators translate ideas into practical solutions. When these elements come together effectively, they create the conditions for sustained digital growth. This is why engagements such as this, bringing together policymakers, telecom operators, technology firms, media organizations, and researchers are so important. They allow us to collectively interpret global trends and translate them into national opportunities. As we reflect on the insights from the 2026 TMT predictions, one thing becomes clear. The digital transformation journey is accelerating. The technologies shaping the next decade, from AI systems and intelligent devices to next-generation connectivity and digital media platforms, will redefine how economics function and how societies interact. Our task as policymakers, industry leaders, and innovators is therefore to react to these changes and actively shape how they unfold within our national context. For Ghana, this means continuing to invest in digital infrastructure, strengthening our innovation ecosystems, and building the governance frameworks necessary to ensure that emerging technologies serve the public good. The future of the digital economy will be determined by those who combine vision, collaboration, and strategic investment. The Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology, and Innovations remains committed to working with industry partners such as Deloitte, as well as the broader technology ecosystem, to ensure that Ghana continues to be a resilient, inclusive, and innovation-driven digital future. On behalf of the Honorable Minister, I thank Deloitte Ghana for hosting this important dialogue and wish you fruitful discussions. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fori, for the keynote address on behalf of the Honorable Minister. We now move into the panel discussion, which promises to be engaging, practical, and thought-provoking. Allow me to introduce our distinguished panelists in no particular order. First, we have Engineer Eunice Brichum, Energy Consultant. Eunice is a seasoned energy expert with over 30 years of experience across power generation, energy policy, and strategic consulting. She has held senior leadership roles, including Associate Director at Deloitte, CEO of Senate Energy Limited, and Acting Executive Secretary of the Energy Commission, and is widely recognized for her contributions to policy reform and women's leadership in the energy sector. Next on the panel is Sylvia Owusu-Ankuma, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Sylvia also serves as a CEO of the Digital Chamber of Ghana and brings nearly 20 years of leadership experience across the telecommunications, digital, and FMCG sectors. She has played key roles in major industry transformations, including Ghana's first telecom merger, and is a strong advocate for innovation, digital inclusion, and sustainability. We also have Bernard Avler, who is a respected journalist and media executive with over 20 years of broadcasting experience. He's the general manager of City FM and Channel One TV, and the host of the award-winning City Breakfast Show. Bernard is widely recognized for leveraging media to promote good governance and social accountability in Ghana, and holds an economics degree from the University of Ghana and an MBA from the Warwick University. Finally, we have Kofi Dadzi. Kofi is a leading advisor on emerging technology strategy with a strong focus on artificial intelligence and data governance. He co-founded RunCard, helping pioneer conversational AI solutions with global reach. Kofi serves as a non-executive director on several boards, including MTN Ghana, and has advised organizations such as the Tony Blair Institute and MasterCard Foundation on digital transformation. We are privileged to have such a distinguished and experienced panel with us today. Our discussion today will be moderated by Edward Akins, Senior Manager with the Consulting Unit in Ghana. Edward, over to you.
Thank you very much, Johan. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Let me quickly share my screen and then we'll get started. Benjamin, please confirm if my screen is visible.
No, please.
Is it visible now? Okay,
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, our executives on the call and invited guests and special participants of this program. So as Johan mentioned, I support the technology team within Deloitte, and I'm very happy to bring to you the TMT predictions for 2026. My discussion or the report will cover two key areas: technology and telecom, media, and entertainment. And each of these broad topics, I will be discussing two key focus for the tech and three key focus areas for the telecom, media, and entertainment. For the tech side, I'll focus around software and platforms and hardware and systems, all giving focus to how we think the technology world will look like this 2026. On telecom, media, and entertainment, I will focus on advertising, publishing, and social media platforms. I'll keep a focus on entertainment and speak about how video podcast is making an impact and bringing eyeballs for brands to engage with. And lastly, I'll be talking about communications service providers, basically the backbone that is driving technology delivery in Ghana and across the world. A few rules. This is a high-level summary of what we are sharing in the report. It's a 113 document covering 13 topics, which are focused on 8. At the end of this presentation, there will be a QR code that will lead all participants to have a full detail of the report. So we'll share that with you immediately we are done. Now let's zoom into the excitement of the report. Software as a service meets AI agents. And this collaboration or this convergence is transforming budgets, customer experience, and workforce dynamics. Basically, agentic AI, as it grows in capabilities and mature, we are seeing software as a service vendors, for example, Slack and Zoom. They are building out platforms that is creating and integrating and orchestrating AI agents, and we'll see how those organizations end users are going to purchase and use software with a new shift that is coming in the models that will deliver the excellence that we are looking for. Our research tells us that AI is capturing a growing share of digital budgets in organizations big and small. And we are expecting a commensurate increase in the spending towards autonomous AI agents being part of software as a service. We see about 50% of companies investing 50% of their digital transformation budgets in an AI automation in one way or the other. We are also seeing companies investing in agentic AI for specific projects, and we see that rising to about 75% this 2026. What is Deloitte predicting? We are saying half of organizations that we spoke to, given an inference across the world, is saying 50% of their transformational budget is actually focused on AI automation this year. Agentic AI will also see a higher percentage, which is about 75%. And this will grow throughout to 2030. Usage-based pricing and per agent pricing and per outcome pricing, these are the models that we are talking about. The models of delivery will change because the price models will not be the same. It's either you use pay per use or you pay based on the outcomes that you get on the using of these AI models that are being worked out. Why does this matter? Agentic AI is about to get even more complex. And the complexity is because it needs to now solve the problems of what businesses are facing doing their core work so that they can build in more efficiencies and deliver more outcomes. Four things are key. Many software as a service providers are one. They are adding AI agents into what they have already been served to the clients. Two, they are producing brand new agent-powered products that are defining how we do work currently, and also creating agents building frameworks that can pick and learn and be able to build in models for the enterprises that they serve. And lastly, introducing new data management and orchestration capabilities that will help organizations build platforms using the data they have in order to deliver excellence in their business too. We are also seeing huge investment and empowering AI native business. So there are businesses that are now being started, they are starting up currently, and they are all AI native. We are saying that they are developing new potentials that is disrupting the agentic AI solution for enterprise market. Three, we are saying that agents will enter a wide spread of use, that organizations can now use AI models and capabilities to do a lot of things. And this will drive away from the traditional pricing models based on not because it's adequate, but because there has to be a hybrid approach that blends consumption of what you are using and actually the outcomes that the business is looking for. And the last one is we see user experience is going to be revolutionized. Interface for SaaS AI agents will likely be more personalized, that you can actually fine tune it to what you would want to see, proactive in predictions and also conversational in natural languages, and be able to diagnose as well to help businesses run their business, their organizations better. Why does this matter? In 2026, there will likely be a lot of experimentations because you need to learn from your mistakes and grow from there. Companies will automate, but try experimentally to see the outcomes, whether it matches their vision. And we see agentification of SaaS is often not only going to be technical change, there has to be a business model change as well, so that change can actually align with the focus and the outcomes that will be required. What we think organizations should do: one, invest in data management. AI thrives on data. For AI agents to be able to work, they need to access, integrate, observe, and data governance is key. Therefore, organizations should start from what they have, put in frameworks that will help fine-tune their data to enable the usage of AI. Embrace growing complexity. Yes, it will be complex, but the ultimate goal will be bringing simplicity to running businesses. Expert multifaceted pricing model. So it's not going to be a traditional license-based one. There'll be very complicated or complex models based on click per use and outcome-based solutions are the way we are going to move forward with. Build collaborative partnership. We are re-architecting, people would have to be re-architecting workflows, clearly redefine how humans would do work and how agents would do work, and how the collaboration of the robots and people working together to be able to deliver outcomes. The bottom line is in 2026, usage of AI agents through software as a service applications is going to rapidly grow, and the impact will be felt by businesses small and large. Organizations will now seek process efficiencies, they will make savings, and most importantly, bring flexibility for personalized capabilities for their workers to be able to deliver efficiency in the work they do. Now, our next focus is around Gen AI inside existing search engines. So the usage of Gen AI is now going to move away from a siloed experience to organizations or OEMs building platforms that they can actually implement a new version of Gen AI's capabilities within it to bring efficiencies. Possibly one of the most consequential technologies of our time is AI, no doubt about that. We may see a user base widen because of the advantages it will bring, and it will be now incorporated into mainstream applications. For example, traditional search engines will see the use of AI capabilities in it to bring speed to outcomes, more refined outcomes that people require. Many of today's important technologies started as a standalone. When they build capacity, now it will become part of an already established system. For example, GPS was a standalone solution. Now it's part of many applications that we have. The same will become of Gen AI moving forward. What is Deloitte predicting? On the graph, I see passive search summaries see higher daily usage, and we are forecasting that that is even going to increase. For example, for passive Gen AI usage, from 2025, it was 17%. We see a growth moving to 29% in this year, and also a growth moving to 40% in the few months to come, 2027. Deloitte predicts that more people will use Gen AI within existing applications such as search engines, Google, Bing, and others. And they will see, we're forecasting that the daily usage of AI within search will grow 300% more common than it was before. In 2026, across developing market, 29% adults will initiate one or more search using a tool that is already AI enabled. That it's only going to be 10% compared to Gen AI standalone like ChatGPT. What or why does it matter? The pace of embedded Gen AI is overtaking standalone. We can see that clearly. Subsequently, search, social media, and e-commerce are already amongst the most used. We are saying that search dictates where traffic goes. So everybody searching for a flight will search first on a search engine, and then that will direct them to an airport, an airline's website to be able to book. That is the trend that we are seeing. Standalone AI tools have reported being used by a group of Generation Z, more than baby boomers and other XY and other generations. Deloitte survey shows that we did one in England. It shows that 6% of those surveys are using standalone AI daily in 2025. But we believe that existing applications like search engines will see the growth in 10 to 15, 20 folds. Third point is that medium penetration of dedicated AI will ultimately become the popular on online services and social media. And we see that this standalone part will plateau at some point, but all web users we see will be dedicated to a tool daily based on their need and requirements. Four, Gen AI will, as a process within existing mainstream applications, will be significant and will invade the most and be more ubiquitous than standalone destinations. So we see that when an application is old and they embed AI systems in it, their customer base will stay and grow from there because of the efficiencies they get. Why does it matter? Search engines will dictate where traffic flows. AI, whether standalone or embedded into a search engine or already a SaaS platform, will be the biggest change that we'll see in our time. Companies should consider one, AI overview may eliminate chore of many users having to read through a multiple link after a search request. Now they can be aggregated for them them to be able to get the summaries quickly. Many standalone Gen AI owners will face a choice between embedding their tool in an already established system, and that is more for the vendors. The bottom line is AI will improve existing applications, so don't scrap old ones, build capabilities with new old ones that you have, and then we'll see the efficiencies. The impact of AI for the next phase, as we project, will demand more computational power, not less, because of more queries, more inferences, more training. An AI model goes through, in its life cycles, 2 stages: training and inferencing. Inferencing is actually finishing training, understanding patterns and relationships, and actually going to do what it's supposed to do. Inference workloads, we believe, is going to grow. It was about a third of power consumption compute capabilities 2023. It was about a half of compute capacity in 2025, and it will be roughly twice that, or 2/3 in 2026. This requirement or this need will now have ripple effect in compute power, and therefore CPU activities required in data centers will also increase, and then the need for extra power will have to come in. Now AI is building platforms that can actually, OEMs are building platforms that can extend something in the as well. Why we are predicting, we are predicting inferences to grow gradually from being at the lower level to about 76% in 2026. What we want to say, AI models continue to evolve and become more efficient. The requirements for data centers will be done as well. This will be done as well. One is we'll be building better AI models. Two, we'll be building post-training aggregation will increase 30 folds, and also there'll also be test scaling, and also thinking of or reasoning for AI models will also require more. This then will help us, will drive the need for extra power, will optimize inference, therefore will request that the new inference rack that will consume 370 kilowatts per rack will now need to be optimized with edge solutions and applications that will be done. Okay. We'll also look at tiny episodes, which is one that is engaging bigger eyeballs, massive appeal, short serials that are coming, that is gaining viewership. We believe that that will empower independent studios to do more. At the moment, we are seeing Gen Zs doing 44% of current in-demand platforms, and also doing about the millennials doing 49% and watching micro series content that they would want more than what they did last year. This is just because the appeal for tiny episodes or micro dramas are driving engagements for that. The fragmented or algorithm methodology that has been used in the media landscape will bring in more agile creators, content creators, and therefore people building more studios and innovating across all engaging, bringing solutions that will bring more engagement and eyeballs to the viewers. 4 things we need to look at more. Micro series are transforming digital entertainment and is growing exponentially. We see that to grow more as well. Micro drama and spreading rapidly across Asia and Africa. We're seeing a change in US and India as well. Microdrama applications will continue to grow, and we want to see how that will also impact the viewership in Africa and Ghana specifically. What should companies look out for? Media companies should consider micro series for partnerships. They should consider dedicated vertical, be specific in where they want to serve, and also bring supporting collaboration with third parties to be able to deliver more. AI will be able to support and drive enablement for creators to do more. Social platforms should consider evolving their recommendation system so that more series will bring awareness for use. Bottom line, independent creators and micro-series platform are capturing audience. Therefore, brands should be able to manage and engage with that. Let's look at the video podcast will now dominate. Basically, podcasts, which brings visuals as well. We're seeing a growth in that. The revenue is growing from 3.5 billion to 5 billion 2026 predictions. Why is Deloitte, what is Deloitte predicting? Deloitte predicts that annual global revenue will grow. Therefore, we see advertisers should come in and engage with the trust that people see because of use of the videos as part of the audio will bring in more trust, and therefore eyeballs will be more on that. And we're expecting brands to take advantage of that to grow from it. The last part would be to consider what organizations should consider. Streaming audio and music platforms should strengthen tech capabilities, embed tech in what you are doing to be able to deliver. Local and regional content, as well as the global ones, should be able to build in capacity to auto-translate or lip sync to be able to bring global solutions to users in various regions. The bottom line, we believe that effectively creators and the use of platforms will be able to navigate challenges around discovering and monetizing what they have. Now let's look at our last point on the report for today. The next gen satellite internet is transforming pricing, capacity, and regulations worldwide. We're seeing a growth of low Earth orbit satellites, bringing internet connectivity to the deprived areas, and we see a growth that will be coming through as well from to a value of about 15 billion, and we see that as a chance for our unserved institutions or unserved regions to come into usage of technology and be able to drive digital transformation as well. Direct-to-device solutions are also come, which means satellite system that can actually beam internet services directly onto current mobile phones are also growing. And Deloitte is projecting that low orbit satellites will grow from about 15,000 to 18,000, with direct-to-device satellites also growing from the old 708 in last year to a growth of 1,000 in the year that we are in. Why does it matter? As the low orbit brand, the direct to device satellite market evolves, Deloitte predicts that there will be two distinctions. It's either you collaborate, corporations and cooperate, or you compete on your own. And we see something in the market that is driving engagement with local telcos, working with the international brand to be able to deliver services locally. Why should companies consider this? Satellite-based broadband is emerging and a strong alternative to the terrestrial ones that we have. Global satellite data traffic increased by 20-fold in 2025, and we want to see there's going to be a growth in that as well. LEO operators, lower Earth orbit operators will also need to navigate complex agreements in terrestrial and mobile network operators to be able to deliver more services in the regions that we are in. Bottom line, Deloitte predicts that by the end of 2026, the cumulative investment in direct-to-device satellites and also lower Earth orbits broadband constellations will reach approximately 10 billion, and some of those constellation will have direct to device capabilities to help other simple mobile phones be able to pick up internet services from other devices. This brings me to the end of our report. Like I mentioned, it's a 13-page topic report, and we believe that the segmented data that I've shared with you this afternoon will support businesses to plan and strategize moving forward. I will now invite the panelists that we have to be able to come and have a discussion on the points that we've spoken about and take it from there. So as Johan mentioned, we do have quite an extensive list of professionals that would want to engage on discussions here. So if Benjamin, you are there, can you help me showcase all the panelists on this call for us to have a quick discussion on the reports that I have shared? So as mentioned earlier, we have Sylvia Owusu, is the CEO of the Telecom Chamber. She will share her perspective as well on the topic we've discussed. We have Eunice Brichum. She's an energy consultant. We have Kofi Daze, is an emerging technology consultant. We have Bernard Avle, is a renowned broadcaster in Ghana with knowledge on how technology is shaping the broadcast industry in Ghana. Panelists, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bernard,
Thank
can I
you.
have your Bernard, can I have your camera on, please? So, we've shared the report, we've gone through it, and I think it's an exciting time in the world and Ghana specifically. Kofi, if I can come to you first. AI has been a buzz for a while. Now it's real, and we are projecting that it's even going to bring more excitement to the technology age that we are in. And before I ask my question, what's your perspective on, as an AI specialist and enthusiast, what are you seeing and how do you think it will impact economies such as Ghana?
So thanks a lot, Edward, and the Deloitte team, and greetings to my fellow panelists. Look, I think we're all privileged in being early adopters. Many or most of us on this panel, was it about November 22, at least with the quote unquote the outbreak of generative AI, we were not long in being exposed and opening up a browser and signing in, many of us with a Google account or a Microsoft or Apple account, and beginning to use it. So for at that level, there was a somewhat level global playing field for anybody who had a device, data access, and could open a web browser and connect and type out, to the analogy you pointed out earlier, the way we've been doing in mobile search and in other areas. And some statistics have come out pretty authoritatively to demonstrate that on a global basis, certain African markets like Kenya are actually at the forefront in terms of the percentage of users and population engaging certain aspects of generative AI. So from the normal consumption of technologies, I think we are seeing what is fairly typical happen. But what's been a bit of a global shock has been the super rapid acceleration, not just of how fast the technology is advancing, but the rate of adoption. That's unprecedented. So when you multiply the fast pace of advancement, the accelerating advancement, with the accelerated adoption, that creates an effect which ultimately society struggles with. And so we see the educational sector struggling with in what form should kids at all use AI? Can teachers use it to instruct better and improve with new pedagogical methods? Can it mean every kid everywhere who simply has data and a device can have access to an AI-enabled tutor in whatever subject they need? So could that improve learning, or is it going to change learning negatively? We're seeing in different industries different reactions. Before a patient shows up at a doctor, they feel they've come with a whole medical degree on a device, and different scenarios. So I think as a starter, these are some of the effects in terms of how the technology has been introduced, how it's evolving, how it's adopted, and the different sectors in which it's still a little bit out there as to, are we getting more benefit or is it more of a risk? And then obviously we would want to talk more about where do we play if we look at it from a Ghanaian or African context. Are we just going to be takers of this technology, or is this going to be the kind of transition we're looking for?
I spoke about. There is this talk about the reality of how AI is impacting industries. In what ways will the adoption of AI agents transform customer experience, and user interface in software as a service applications? And if you can give us an example in the Ghana sense, and what will it require to ensure transparency and trust and auditability, basically making sure that doing the right thing and getting the right outcomes.
Edward, sorry, I had a brief audio lapse. If you can just summarize for me again.
So
yes.
I was talking about asking you around the practicality of our benefits in small businesses industry in Ghana. In what ways will the adoption of AI agents transform customer experience and user interfaces in software as a service applications, and what will be required to ensure that there is transparency and auditability?
Right. I think when you
Kofi, did I lose you?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Kofi.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now. Okay. All right. So I think you're fast forwarding to the meat now. We've gone beyond the basic use of AI to ask interesting questions and get interesting answers and poetry. Insurance company, going out there, managing sales leads, managing customers, support, and all of that, would sign up to a platform like HubSpot with 20 seats, and that's what they'll be paying for. 8 marketers, 11 salespeople, 2 customer support. So they'll be paying per seat largely, and then the volume of customers they have in there. But when you introduce the AI agent, who can work across all 3 functional domains, doesn't sleep, if well tooled, can actually access your email, your data stores. Look, is actually operating in your user directory with access to an orchestrated environment for managing, obviously, the security and what they can do. It changes the need to put a certain volume of heads behind the software, the subscriptions. So what you're ultimately seeing in this example and in other examples is the economics shifting from billing per number of users to having to shift to billing for value outcomes.
Yes.
So the real trend, the real essence is that people providing technology services need to think now more closely about designing and orchestrating for unique outcomes. Understanding customer journeys. If it's in the healthcare system, understanding what patient outcomes, clinical outcomes need to look like, and supporting the orchestration of how agents will assist medical workers in getting those outcomes. So businesses want to pay for outcomes increasingly, and not for volume of users tooling with software. I think that's the critical shift that AI agents are introducing in the mix of how both small and large enterprises interact with
Thank you very much, Kofi. I'll come back to you on the power requirements, but let me now go to Eunice specifically. I spoke about the 2 activities AI normally stages they go through: training and inferencing, and its requirement on computational power and therefore energy requirements. So Eunice, I'd want to come to you as an energy consultant. How will this shift of AIs, we need AI, we're craving for AI, now it is here, now it is having impact on our energy consumption. As an energy consultant, what are the strategic considerations, and I want you specifically for enterprises in Ghana, are we doing in the energy mix to make sure that we are able to sustain or be able to the need for more AI efficiency and the power requirements, we're able to be in the mix of it. What is the energy as an energy consultant? What do you see around that energy part of Africa specifically?
Thank you, Edward. I think first of all, we need to make sure that
we start out with a very good long-term plan for what our energy needs are going to be as we anticipate the growth of data centers. And we need to make sure that those forecasts that we're looking at are accurate, because we do not want to build out when, the demand does not come through. So I think starting with a robust long-term plan is key. And together with that plan, we also can try and leverage not only on the supply side, but also on the delivery side, make sure that we're leveraging the abundant resources that we have with clean energy. I mean, one of the things that I found out, one of the reasons why Ghana, for instance, today is not as big in the data center market, in addition to just the market size that we have, is that a lot of investors are focusing on areas where renewable energy integration is key. And so we definitely are taking some steps towards that. With the long-term plan, we look at, what are our energy needs by when, what should that mix be? And with our energy transition goals and agenda for the country today, we make sure that we are incorporating that as part of, a supply mix. And so that's on the generation side, but not only there, even on the delivery side, both with delivery systems, transmission, distribution, we also can look at what are called non-wire alternatives to operational or mitigating operational constraints. And those usually involve some renewable energy type of an application where in some areas where maybe in the past you would say, okay, we need, the voltage, let's say in the northern parts of Ghana is really low. We need a power plant there, which could cost so many hundreds of millions of dollars. We could look at, a solar infusion there, perhaps with battery energy storage to help us bridge, the gap with the intermittent, nature of solar, for instance, and look at some of those other, technologies that can help us not only build out our grid, but also make sure that Ghana is being positioned well to have the grid of the future. So it's both on the supply and then on the generation side, and then ensuring that we're putting the right structures in place to allow enterprises, for instance, to be able to leverage on some of these technologies that are available. Today, many entities, many companies are looking at how they can balance their energy costs by providing maybe some solar complementarity between what they need from the grid, from ECG or from the distribution companies, as well as what they also can produce on their own for their demand. Now, the question there becomes, okay, so we need this power during the day. What happens in the evenings? So the structures are being put in place where, for instance, we can look at net metering, for instance, which is a big project that the Energy Commission, as well as some of our donor partners, together with ECG, are looking at, where we can provide that excess energy from some of these enterprises to the distribution company at a time when they need it, and then net that off with the demand that they need from the grid at other times. So these are all, things that we need to look at as a country and that we are working on. So strategically, one, making sure that we start with a good plan at the beginning, look at what the sources of generation or supply are for us, and making sure that we're diversifying and taking advantage of the abundant resources that we have here for clean energy. And then also making sure that we can leverage some of that generation as enterprises to supply, power back to the distribution companies and so on. Now, another part I'd like to mention is the area of energy efficiency, because obviously, with increased demand, there's increased costs, whether on the supply side or on the delivery side, that is a concern because, building out your grid costs a lot of money. And I think, as you've seen in developed countries, where there's a huge demand for power for these data centers, there's a big concern about the cost of that power, even to the point where regulators are looking at how they can structure, tariffs, for instance, to allow those data centers perhaps to even generate their own power, so that they can, sort of ring fence the costs of that generation, not pass that on to, residential consumers who are also connected to the grid. So it brings in the whole area of energy efficiency. And first of all, building energy efficiency is a key area that Ghana has been working on and that we continue to look at. I mean, the Energy Commission, for instance, is exploring what it would mean to put regulations in place and standards for performance certification of buildings, all with the drive towards how we can mitigate those power needs. And then, there's just so many other things that we can look at, but I'll stop here at this point.
Thank you very much, Eunice, for giving us that perspective of what is currently being done in support of this need of what we are asking for. We want more efficiencies in our application delivery. We're also looking for how energy support will have to be made to make sure that that is covered. Sylvia, I'll come to you in a minute. I just want to wrap that up with some kind of technology overview and how connectivity is done in Ghana. But let me go to Bernard. Bernard, the excitement around this how do you call it, micro drama, how do you call it, video podcast that is now coming across, people are consuming it that much. You are a broadcaster. I want to bring you into this space of technology and AI that we've just discussed. What opportunities and challenges do micro drama platforms present to independent creators, traditional studios, and if I may add, traditional broadcasters like yourself and your institution? How are you in this mix and how are you benefiting from the technology, emerging technologies that are available at the moment? Bernard, I'll give you like 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Edward. And thank you for giving me 3 minutes because I can 30. Look, this is great. The report is fantastic. We will be having a meeting about the content when my team returns from Heritage Caravan, because it points us in many directions. It confirms some of the stuff we're already doing. So I just want to endorse the report. And thank you for your question. I'll take it in 2 parts. For independent content producers, micro dramas is a big opportunity.
Yeah.
The production threshold is lower. So production costs are very important in media.
Yeah.
A micro drama could be anything from a minute to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the episodes are shorter. Distribution is algorithm driven, not media gatekeeper controlled. So you don't need to see TV3 or Metro TV or City FM or Channel 1. You basically just need to have good content. So the possibilities for independent producers are limitless. There are challenges for them in monetization though, because a lot of them haven't structured their business well to the point of attracting a revenue stream beyond maybe a brand endorsement.
Yeah.
So that's for the independent content producers. For us traditional media producers, it's a big disruption. Now we are running what we call a digital first strategy in our newsroom. So if we were covering this program for you 10 years ago, it would have just been streaming it on our TV or just playing it live on radio. Now we have people who do media repurposing, because our consumers are now used to 1 to 5 minute content like what you've just discussed. Not only is it just 1 to 5 minutes, it's now made for your mobile phone. It's vertical, it's not horizontal. So you don't need to turn the phone to watch it, right? So for us, it also means that partnerships are very possible. So right now, even on our TV station, we have a media school whose students have produced short content, XOXO. We're using it on our main channel because these are digital natives creating content that is very easy to assimilate and very reusable. So whilst the series can be even 30 minutes to play on TV, you can chop it up into 1 minute bits that are sequential and still make sense.
Yeah.
So for us, it's both a disruption because people can do what we do quicker, but it's an opportunity because partnerships are possible. Training is possible. So as I speak to you, we are working with a media school whose young people help us to produce shorter versions of these kinds of things so we can repurpose for content. So in a nutshell, it's redefined the economics of media for us. And it's both scary and exciting at the same time for a traditional media house like mine. Thank you, Edward.
Let me just add before I bring in Sylvia. Are you monetizing what you are doing currently?
The revenue models are still very heavy for us on traditional. But because these short form things are algorithm driven, measurability is also easier. So we are making some money from them, but it hasn't overtaken traditional yet for us. And that's more our problem. There are independent content producers who are monetizing some of these things because their model is purely based on digital. So what I'll say is that the monetization discussion is a big one that has to be had at a separate program. But to the extent that advertisers have measurability, you can produce a report for them on who's watching at what time, at what point do they stop watching. The granularity of it, you can decide at which specific second to put an advert. So it's very scientific. So we are able to monetize it, but it hasn't overtaken our traditional source of revenue yet because the level of content available hasn't gotten to a point where advertisers are looking at traditional media as the main source of money for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Now, let me come to you, Sylvia. Sylvia, you seem to be the person with the capacity to connect or not. People are enjoying all the things we're talking about because there is connectivity. We have a model mix of what is being delivered at the moment. Our report spoke about the LEO and then direct-to-device options. What challenges do satellite internet providers face currently in where we are, especially for, how do you call it, direct-to-device options? And how is Ghana positioning for partnership and collaboration with all these satellite companies to be able to deliver connectivity, ubiquitous, basically a general connectivity across everywhere that people can now be able to enjoy the services, for example, what Bernard is talking about, and also this AI capability across Ghana?
Thank you, Edward, and good morning from Barcelona. I think the buzzword AI, as you presented, is one that is raging all over the place. Generative AI, agentic AI, and there's quite a lot of discourse going there. And I think it's almost interesting that from what Kofi, Bernard, and Eunice have all presented, it comes fundamentally to the platforms that would enable, whether it's from an enterprise point of view, whether it's from a content point of view, whether it's the energy demands that we also need to power the industry. From a LEO point, and when we talk about the LEOs in terms of low orbit solutions, we should see that Ghana is already in that space in terms of partnerships for our mobile network operators, right? And from a chamber point of view, the key concerns or the key perspective we need to keep in mind is ensuring there's a level playing field, right? For traditional mobile network operators and other OEMs that participate in the space, we have a policy space that require licensing. And you have the satellites who have, I mean, just last year, we had Starlink coming into Ghana. They have a key role to play in terms of complementing what the mobile network operators are currently providing. Now, as we move towards the AI and the demand for data increases, the demand that the enterprise needs for data is also evolving. In the same regard, we are going to be needing a lot more capacity, right? And that's where that complementary need needs to be established. I guess for Ghana, the question we need to be asking ourselves is what sort of regulatory frameworks are we evolving into to enable all these vertical players really, monetize within the ecosystem. When you look at how we have addressed rural coverage, for instance, we have traditionally given blanket quality of service parameters to mobile network operators. In this era of LEO options and DNDs, it's very important that the regulator takes a different approach than just utilizing a blanket, ensure you cover every district assembly from a network standpoint, when you can have complementary backhauling using satellite services. I think we are also at a point where we're going. I know we haven't really edged on that in this conversation around the next generation of networks, 5G and above. It's interesting when consumers have the expectation that 5G, would increase speed, etc. But the use cases, as we've seen during the Mobile World Congress, for instance, is that it's heavily geared towards supporting industries, supporting the mining sector, supporting, enterprise users. In a way that all the examples Kofi shared in terms of AI being imbibed into organization and how they are able to be used to effectively drive productivity, it is really going to be a play around ensuring the various licensing regimes we have, whether it's 5G, 4G, 3G, we have a different mindset around its regulations, right? To enable us as a country leverage investments in whether it's new data centers or 5G technology, etc. If we do not shift that mindset, then what happens is that the monetization for these investments becomes problematic and really doesn't make it attractive for any mobile network operator or LEO to really come in country and invest, right? So first is to remove that barrier. Now, the other part that LEOs need to take into account, and I mentioned that in Ghana, we need them as a complementary measure. When you look at our last mile solutions in terms of getting network into very rural unserved areas, even though we have a policy today that says GIFEC, for instance, from a national standpoint, will do rollout in areas that are not commercially viable for traditional operators. We see the opportunity in having satellite low satellite evolving networks complementing the backhaul for traditional network operators in a way that we can then bring connectivity and inclusivity to more of our people in Ghana. But I mean, it also comes back to the need to have a much more national conversation around what are the energy needs and requirements if we're going to talk heavy AI, data centers. Eunice has made a good point around the fact that even when this energy source is provided, we need to find a way of ensuring they are being used effectively. But where is that national dialogue? We need to really come to a point where we are seeing a cohesion of all the conversations from a national policy to encourage the right investment into these verticals that we see coming through.
Yeah. So Sylvia, whilst on that point, the report talked about moving forward, there has to be either cooperation or competition. In our space, do you see these alternative connectivity providers that can serve areas that we are unable to because the business case is not right? Are you seeing this collaboration between the MNOs in Ghana collaborating, or are they coming in as pure competition in delivering connectivity services across Ghana?
Currently, I do believe we're already seeing collaboration, so it's more of competition in some extent. MTN is already working closely with some of the LEOs to backhaul. I think it's an open conversation that from a regional standpoint, a lot of the players are already taking advantage of such partnerships as complementary. Remember, again, I go back to the licensing regime that we have. If they come in country and the licensing framework is such that they are being brought in as competition, then we really are going to struggle to see the monetization, both for the LEOs and existing players. We need to have a mindset from a regulatory standpoint that allows partnerships rather to come so that it's complementary to areas where we know we're not able to, take the right investment in. The backhauling that LEOs provide then becomes an added opportunity to have those licensing arrangements or partnerships directly with existing players in the market in order to make it profitable or even interesting in terms of investments for both the LEOs as well as existing traditional networks.
Traditional network provider. Thank you very much, Sylvia, on that. So we've try to wrap up on our discussions here. It's been very interesting. I'll try and give everybody a minute to pitch on the report basically. But if I can come to Kofi, you remember I mentioned that you are in the business, you're working with some of the MNOs. I wanted to bring some of the question that I touched with Eunice around the energy part of this AI boom. You are industry person. How is it being defined in the companies that you consult for? Do you give strategy, implementation activity, and they do not speak about energy requirements, or you have a holistic view of how you advise organizations on AI implementations?
Yeah,
And Kofi,
thank you, Edward.
you have a minute and a half on that. Sorry.
Sure. Yes, I will do well to stay within. I think the way I like to think about this is a technology stack, right? So at the very end is an end user who is doing inference, which is interacting with an AI model to get some value. If it's agentic, it's a goal. If it's your typical prompt and response, it's a knowledge outcome. Below that is an AI model running based, especially today, on a neural network, a large composed trained from a large data set. So you have these large storage capacity that the data centers are supplying, and then you have the compute infrastructure, the GPUs. So we're going down in the data center infrastructure, physical compute infrastructure. There's two key things happening. There's cooling and there's energy use. And the projections are that the rate of growth of energy consumption related to the end user demand, enterprises and individuals for AI workloads is only going to also accelerate. So for our environment, we're probably more of a cloud-heavy usage environment. Most of the AI workloads, both enterprise and individual, in a Ghanaian and most African context, is running in the cloud. So our main challenges for energy actually will sit with the space Sylvia speaks to, which is telcos being able to get the capacity together from what regulatory spectrum is available, 5G, tech neutrality, and so on, to supply the data capacity needed for the workloads going to the cloud. That's where for us,
Cloud, yeah.
We start. For enterprises who are beginning to bring heavy AI compute workloads into their organization because of the large proprietary data sets they have, think financial services, eventually health care as well, as you have electronic health records, exchangeability analysis, and all of that. Where we move to data sovereignty models that require that there's data localization for certain data classifications, then we will need a lot more coming locally. That will be the model that, going to Eunice, our energy planning corresponding with AI workload demand will arrive at. So today it's a lot more heavy work for our data providers, the ISPs and the telcos, to carry that volume to and from the cloud. But tomorrow we will need to have local energy infrastructure to support those workloads that we intend to localize.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, that's useful. Thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Dadzie. Team at the back end, do we have questions that are being asked so we can directly send them to our panelists, because we need to also hear from our participants as well?
Yes, Edwin. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can.
Okay, we have two questions in the Q&A chat.
Okay.
Let me just run us through the first question that says, as SAS vendors transition from traditional seat-based licensing to usage-based and per outcome pricing models, how should CIOs and CFOs rethink digital transformation budgeting strategies to balance predictability with innovation? And what governance mechanisms will be critical to ensure that AI agents adoptions deliver measurable business value without spiraling costs?
Yeah.
So that's the
Okay,
first
so let's
question.
take this first one, and I think I can confidently direct that to Kofi because that's your space. Kofi, you can do justice to this one in about a minute for me, please.
Okay, I got the second bit on getting efficiency and outcomes. The first bit, if you can summarize for me again, please.
Richard, please, can you repeat that quickly?
Okay, so they're asking about the SaaS vendors, software as a service vendors, and how, because now pricing for these softwares are moving to per user pricing and per outcome pricing, how are CIOs and CFOs going to rethink their budgeting strategies for these
Strategies, yeah.
SES and balance predictability?
Okay, thank you, Richard. So Kofi, please, a minute.
Excellent
Yeah,
said. I mean, on the first one, that's an evolving space. I don't think we have any hard answers, but the trends are that you may see some existing SES players and some new players taking advantage of that shift, which will be designing for the agentic environment, which moves away from the seat-based model to outcomes-based. For existing players and their economics, they will struggle. They will face disruption and we'll see those innovations evolve. On your second point about efficiency and productivity with agentic, look, what's going to emerge is agentic work models, two aspects. One, creating control environments for your AI agents to get tasks and goals done for you. And as your confidence in that regime improves, you probably give them more work. The other part is redesigning human to digital worker, if you like, human to digital capital structures, right? Where organizations are challenged to rethink which tasks, and it's not about jobs here, it's about tasks that impact jobs. So which tasks can we have agents do better for us? Where do we transition the impacted human workers so that they can also bring more value to the organization? It's always a value question. So some of the challenges ahead of us in the world of work really is redesigning with clear outcomes, but also with transition strategies so that we are not just mitigating the impact to human work, but we are enhancing or augmenting human work by leveraging agents. The key point I want to leave with regarding introduction of agentic is alignment. You want to make sure that as an organization or as an individual, the agents you use behave consistently with your own values in an organization with your control environment within your risk appetite. Those are the real challenges we have to balance while trying to get the productivity outcomes from agentic workflows.
So, like what you said, Kofi, I think it's important that you get your blueprints outlined clearly so you know how those will be done. Richard, can you quickly do the second question and then we'll allow our panelists to wrap up our session for this morning. It's been very interesting. So, Richard, go ahead with the second question and we'll find who it's directed
Sure.
to. Yes.
But there are more questions coming in.
Okay. We might not be able to answer or we'll put the answers later in the session because of the time we have for this program.
All right. So the second question is, with regards to building capacity for resources to support national use of AI, how do you think, or what do you think regulatory bodies across various sectors can do to collaborate and to provide authentic data in driving decisions for capacity building? And then let me just chip in a third, which is, what are the environmental consequences of AI?
We'll let Eunice answer that bit from the energy perspective. And also, Mr. Dazi, I would want you to answer this, but I'll bring Sylvia in, and maybe that will be your wrapping up note. How you see the question that Kofi will answer, how you see that as your space. You're not a regulator, but how do you see it from your perspective? So, Kofi first, please.
Okay, so the question was on cross-agency collaboration in data streams in AI. Look, before you get that right in AI, whether at a regulatory level or in the enterprise, you first have to get your data governance right.
Right.
And it's a matter of quality, security, privacy. You have to understand the plane of that. Once you've got that right, then you can really unleash your AI capabilities, which, by the way, require that data sets that provide meaningful outcomes that sit in different places can interconnect, can be interpolated, and agents have protocols to talk to each other across organizations to get real value. So if I were a regulator, I'm going first for data governance, and then I'm going to look at how do I support innovation in a safe environment with the kinds of data exchange and agent interactions, which will be useful. Just a quick throw in here. So some of you may have heard of a Moltbook, moltbook.com, a social media platform for AI agents, where humans are only allowed to watch and see the agents interacting. They are creating their own religions, they are creating their own languages. So as for agent interaction and what they also do in media, when they start creating new Benadables for us to listen to in the morning, there's a lot happening there.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dazi, on that. Sylvia, on the regulatory side, let's stick with the data governance. In your space, what is happening? 1 minute, please.
Thanks, Edward. And so on data governance, I think Kofi has said it. It's important that I think institutionally we all need to start reflecting on it. That's the beauty of the report Deloitte has churned out. I believe there's a lot of insights in there that from an institutional point of view, we need to reflect on what AI is bringing on board and what we need to define within our space as, activities, tax initiatives that will be overtaken by AI and how we structure that to happen. I'll take it more from a different angle in terms of from a national policy, how are we directing our energies to ensure that we take advantage of this AI era? I do see from a policy standpoint a lot of siloed conversation, whether it's from a digital identity conversation that we're having as a country to data privacy initiatives. There are a lot of siloed conversations going on. And we need to take advantage of the quick evolution that we're seeing within the space to have deep national conversation. I'm hoping that that is something Bernard can help us lead as the conversations, you digest the report further with other stakeholders. But that holistic view needs to come through where we're not only looking at it from a telecom regulator standpoint, but the Bank of Ghana from a financial inclusion and its impact on, financial services, digital identity, mitigating cybersecurity, etc., all comes to play, and we have a much more robust outlook of it on it. Then again, also, I think our energy needs, our energy requirements, as we want to invite more investments into data centers, etc., needs to be looked at. If PURC or the Energy Commission is primarily fixated on dealing with our BAUs, then we're not going to evolve and really take, a strategic position as Ghana to leverage what is happening globally. So I really do hope that on the back of the work Deloitte has done with the TMT, we're going to further engage at a national level to have a much more strategic direction when it comes to AI and how Ghana will position itself for the future.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Eunice, I'll let you have your last word based on what the question was. But Bernard, Sylvia just brought in something. How are you, the media, supporting in this democratization of technology, emerging techs and so you yourself using it and making sure that Ghana comes to a table to have a deeper conversation? I've heard you on various platforms on that, but you have one now. Please share your thoughts.
Well, there's a lot to be said, but for want of time, what I would say is we are gatekeepers and we are a platform for discourse. So I take up Sylvia's challenge. I think the chamber she works for have a very good relationship with the media, and therefore we will create opportunities for meaningful discussions around this. We ourselves are both beneficiaries and victims of the change. And therefore, on the monetization side, there's a lot of work to be done. So we translate the possibilities from content and distribution into sustainable revenue models. Victims because media economics has changed, and we also need the way media is conceived, particularly public interest media, to shift so we can continue playing the role we play in a democracy. With those viewers, I'll say thank you very much, Edward.
Oh, thank you very much, Bernard. Eunice, let me give you your last thoughts.
So thank you very much. On the issue of the environment, I think as a nation, we clearly, have signed up to an energy transition framework, and we are taking the steps to make sure that that gets implemented. So from an environmental standpoint, yes, the steps we've taken, such as making sure that any new generation that comes on stream is based off of natural gas. Where we can't do that, we're also looking at how we interface clean energy, renewable energy, and in its various forms. We have an abundance of solar. We have some wind, looking at how we leverage those resources into our energy mix. And then also a key area, which I didn't mention earlier, is looking at how we operate within the regional concept, within the regional context, as markets here, so that we're no longer looking at ourselves as a standalone. We no longer as nations in the West African region, and in the future, on a continental basis, only look at, what are our needs here. Yes, there may not be data centers, knocking on doors here in Ghana yet, but I think there's steps that we can take to prepare ourselves for when that day comes. And then our neighbors in Nigeria have, they have the market, but I think we have the resources and the connectivity across the West Africa region, working through agencies such as WAP and the ERERA, which is a regulatory agency, will help us to support some of those needs there until such a time where the demand grows here in Ghana ourselves. And then, we would have learned, from our experiences there to do a better job of supplying the sustainability, the reliability, and the energy security that we need in a very environmentally and sustainable manner here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eunice. It's been an amazing session. We're not done yet. I have the minister's representative on the call, Mr. Ofori. I'll give you 1 minute on your thoughts on what we have discussed so far. I know you play a lot of role in how excellent this will be for Ghana. So, Mr. Ofori, if you are still online, just 1 minute, and I'll hand over back to Yahan for the next phase. I know we're about some few minutes late. I'll hand over back to Yahan. Thank you very much, panelists. Let's hear from Mr. Ofori. Mr. Ofori, you are on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can.
But I cannot hear you.
But so go ahead and give your submission. I think we can hear you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Edward and colleagues. Where we've gotten to as a country and our digital development, issues about energy storage and broadband connectivity are critical for us, especially because these AI technologies, how they consume power and how you can even build systems to be able to be more efficient. It requires that we get some level of energy stability, clean energy, and then enhance data centers with complementary support from the private sector. But underlining it is the networks and the speeds that we are able to provide. So if the networks are not available and providing the speeds that we require, then the entire investments that people are making in terms of compute power and data efficiency becomes a challenge. So operators have a role to play. And then we have issues about how do we provide the connectivity for people to utilize the services. Issues of spectrum comes in. We've spoken about satellites, also competing with their investments. So it's a whole mix of issues and how government can support. But I feel that, as I mentioned in the speech, we have to collaborate together to achieve our goals. Everybody's skin must be in the game. It is not somebody against somebody, but we all have an interest. And if we face our development journey together, then we can achieve what the ultimate user, who is the subscriber or the citizen, will get from us. So that is how we want to approach going forward, collaborating more with everyone. Where there are challenges, we should all discuss and recommend solutions rather than criticize. Because we are in the ministry doing policy, but we are not experts in everything. So everybody is an expert in something, but when we put it together, then we achieve the whole Ghanaian vision together. So this will be my few remarks on our discussions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ofori. Jahan, please.
Oh, thank you very much, Edward. As we come to the end of today's session, I would like to sincerely thank our keynote speaker, our panelists, our moderator, and all of you who joined us and participated. This has been a rich and insightful discussion, offering valuable perspectives on the future of artificial intelligence within the TMT industry. I am particularly intrigued by the multiple platform that Kofi mentioned, where AI agents create content and debate anonymously, and humans are just the audience. We simply can't just sit and wait to see how that evolves. But before we sign off, I'd like to share an upcoming Deloitte learning opportunity, the AI Masterclass. This program is designed to help organizations unlock intelligence and real business value through AI. If you're interested in learning how to harness AI within your organization, please look out for more details in our follow-up communication. Thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to welcoming you to future Deloitte events. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who you are. You are one of the makers and creators. The pioneers on the front lines of innovation, the game changers, who lay it all on the line. You never back down from a challenge, and you never miss an opportunity to invent, reinvent, or reimagine what could be. Not everyone can handle the pressure cooker of change you face every day, but you are built for this. With our prodigious band of problem solvers, multi-talented, multi-disciplined masterminds of the industry, the ones who know how to build, grow, merge, converge, and not just survive the onslaught of change, but to thrive within it together. We are built for this. You know who you are. You are one of the makers and creators. The pioneers on the front lines of innovation, the game changers, who lay it all on the line. You never back down from a challenge, and you never miss an opportunity to invent, reinvent, or reimagine what could be. Not everyone can handle the pressure cooker of change you face every day, but you are built for this. With our prodigious band of problem solvers, multi-talented, multi-disciplined masterminds of the industry, the ones who know how to build, grow, merge, converge, and not just survive the onslaught of change, but to thrive within it together. We are built for this.